Why did Russia stop the grain deal? Not long ago, just a few days ago, you probably caught wind of the Black Sea grain agreement making headlines. But what exactly does this agreement entail? What made it hold such significance? And why did Russia opt to withdraw from the agreement? I aim to present this information succinctly in a brief video, using easily understandable language. To begin, let's delve into the nature of the Black Sea grain agreement. As the name implies, this agreement pertains to the trade of food grains within the Black Sea region. Now, let's pinpoint the location of the Black Sea. By referring to the map, you'll notice that the Black Sea is situated in a manner where three prominent nations predominantly border its coastline. The sequence of nations begins with Turkey, followed by Russia, and ultimately Ukraine. While the Black Sea itself doesn't cultivate food grains, our focus shifts to the pivotal role of seaports in facilitating their export. Specifically, our attention narrows down to Ukraine's strategic seaport located within the Black Sea region, namely Odessa. Now, let me shed light on a few key aspects concerning this significant seaport. Odessa stands as Ukraine's foremost seaport, boasting its status as one of the most significant ports within the expansive Black Sea basin. Of notable importance, Odessa holds the distinction of being the sole Ukrainian port equipped to accommodate Panamax-class vessels, which denotes the largest ships able to traverse the Panama Canal. Furthermore, this port complex also claims prominence as a sizable passenger terminal, solidifying its stature as one of the preeminent facilities in the entire Black Sea basin. The key feature of this seaport lies in its numerous oil and gas terminals, alongside grain silos, which essentially serve as agricultural storage facilities. This distinctive combination positions the seaport as a crucial hub for exporting Ukrainian commodities such as grain and steel. To provide you with an overview, it's worth noting that the seaport has been non-operational since the onset of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2022. Controlling the Black Sea, Russia's strategic actions include mine-laying to disrupt Ukrainian seaport trade. The Black Sea grain agreement, forged with Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, and the United Nations, emerged after Russia's 2022 annexation of the port, aiming to ensure safe grain exports from Ukraine's Odessa Seaport. The route traverses the Bosporus and Dardanelles Straits via Istanbul, with Turkey tasked with ship inspections, securing passage to international waters. Enforcing inspections for weapon-free shipments, the agreement also enforced a ceasefire around the Odessa seaports. Its significance lay in addressing the global food crisis stemming from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, disrupting grain exports and elevating worldwide food prices. Serving as a crucial breakthrough, the Black Sea grain agreement facilitated unobstructed monthly exports of 5 million tons of corn and wheat from Ukraine's vital seaports, Odessa, Kornomorsk, and Pivdenie, ultimately alleviating the crisis. In essence, the agreement aimed to unite essential stakeholders, Russia, Ukraine, and Turkey, through a United Nations-mediated accord to counteract the international food crisis. The agreement's notable aspect is its acknowledgement that humanitarian solutions can prevail amidst major conflicts, as evidenced by the United Nations mediation to mitigate global repercussions. Yet, skepticism exists regarding the United Nations' effectiveness due to Western influence, leading to criticisms of its limited action on worldwide issues. The Black Sea Grain Agreement concluded on July 13, 2022, with an initial expiration on July 17, 2023, faced a 120-day extension request by Ukraine, which Russia, driven by its interests, declined. This refusal underscores Russia's pragmatic stance, prioritizing its shipments over further extension. The underlying tactic is simple: a mutual agreement based on meeting each other's conditions. Notably, the United Nations and Turkey are key players, with Western influence on the former. While Ukraine sought 120 days, Russia refused, and Turkey, along with the United Nations, negotiated a 60-day extension, ultimately unsuccessful as Russia rejected it, leading to the blockade of Ukrainian seaports and the Black Sea mine placement. Two conclusions arise. Either Turkey and the United Nations lacked transparency, urging extension without addressing Russia's demands, or Russia displayed indifference to the global food shortage, disregarding consequences and food prices. Russia is evil. They don't care about humanity and the world. I mean, these are the narratives that the Western mainstream media tells us. For example, look at this outlet. Their headlines read, "Russia holding humanity hostage over the Black Sea grain deal." Do you see the kind of narrative being rolled out? I support the first conclusion. Now, for those who support the second viewpoint, it is worth considering why Russia would be willing to cooperate and engage with the United Nations and Turkey, ultimately agreeing to the one-year duration of the Black Sea grain agreement. I will tell you why Russia agreed. Because even Russia's demands were being met. As I said, Russia is not doing a favor. It is a simple concept. If you agree to my conditions, I will agree to your conditions. There is no way you can say that Russia is evil. If Russia had not desired it, this agreement would not have been permitted to occur in the first place. And now when Russia saw the United Nations and Turkish duplicity, you can leave the United Nations aside because they will favor Western countries. So if you look at Turkish duplicity, Turkey is not being honest and trustworthy in its dealings with Russia. Furthermore, I would say even the United States is indirectly part of this agreement. You may not see their name, but they are also involved. The United States, being the primary provider of military aid and equipment to Ukraine for the war, may likely exert influence and play a role from behind the scenes. Do you think they will not exert influence and play a role behind the scenes? Even Ukraine has not cleared mines from its waters. Although Ukraine denies it, don't you think the United States is not aware of it? So this is where you have to understand that the United States and Ukraine's other international partners are not allowing the Black Sea grain agreement to be carried out fairly. Even Russia has demanded. Even they want to export some agricultural products and keep the economy running. If the West is not interested in Russia's demands, they are setting up traps for sinking the Russian economy. Don't you think Russia will not push back? That is the reason Russia has canceled and withdrawn from the agreement and has said it is meaningless. Russia has allowed this deal to work for 1 year, but now Russia's demands have been ignored. Now let me quickly tell you about Ukraine's seaport, Odessa. The Ukrainian port of Odessa is not in complete control of Russia. The port is still under Ukrainian control, but it has been blockaded by the Russian Navy since the start of the war in February 2022. And now, Russia has again blocked it. This prevents the export of grain and other commodities from Odessa, and this will significantly impact the Ukrainian economy. Now the question is, what will Ukraine do with the food grains? Well, obviously what Ukraine will do is store the grain in silos and other facilities around the country. And then there are a few options. What Ukraine can do is they can try to export it through other routes, such as by rail or road. However, this is also a difficult and expensive option, and it is not clear how much grain can be exported this way. Another option is to use the grain for domestic consumption. However, this would mean that Ukraine would have to reduce its exports of other commodities, and this will lead to higher food prices in Ukraine and other countries. A third option is to donate the grain to countries that are in need. Now, this would be a humanitarian gesture, but it would also mean that Ukraine will not generate any revenue from the sale of the grain. The final option is to simply allow the grains to spoil. This would be a waste of resources, but it would also mean that Ukraine would not have to worry about storing the grain or finding a way to export it. There will also be no cost associated with storing and transporting. So if you see, the best option for Ukraine will depend on several factors, including the current state of the war, the availability of other export routes, and the needs of the global food market. But one thing is for sure, food prices in the global market are going to rise in the coming weeks or months. And by the way, Russia will not buy Ukraine's grain since Russia is a major exporter of grain and it does not need to import grain from Ukraine. Even that option is not there. So the only solution that is left is that the West has to come up with a new agreement with Russia. Only then export of grain will be allowed from Ukraine through the Black Sea. So let's see what happens. I will keep you updated. This is everything that you have to know. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching it.